Meanwhile, the obsession of the right about AOC is stunning. It is always creepy to have Ben Stein comment on anyone.
Oh, you serious, dude?
Who is...
We got Ben Stein out of the crypt.
Yes.
They are all so
Do you
thirsty
remember
for her.
The last time we heard from Ben Stein, wasn't there some controversy about his approach toward women? Am I forgetting that?
Ooh, I'm gonna look that up.
I think there was some type of
financial domination.
Yes, there was some type of
That's shocking.
Oh wow,
Yes.
he made a whole show around that.
So is he out today to thank AOC for giving him another couple years in life expectancy because he's so thirsty for her? Is that what we're playing?
This new show, Withhold Ben Stein's Money.
Well, little did those people know they were all involved in his FinDom fantasy.
Here is FinDom Ben Stein talking about AOC
He's a pay
and how she's I mean, I guess she's what is it? Is she kink shaming him by calling for a 70% marginal tax rate? Here we go.
Was learning that. I mean, they've tried, right? They tried, and Hugo Chavez had all kinds of promises, just like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Maduro had the same kind of promises. In fact, and we're going to show this a little bit later, the former vice president, Delcy Rodriguez, I say former because we no longer recognize her regime there with Maduro, she'll sit there and tell you with a straight face that Venezuela...
Pause it. Wait a second. I guess we should just also add, like, apparently Fox got the notice early.
Fox
That was
did.
fast.
And let me just say, I recognize Nancy Pelosi as president.
There you go.
Certainly new editorial guidelines when I'm hosting.
She'll sit there and tell you with a straight face that Venezuela is the model of the world, despite the fact that 90% of the people live in poverty. Venezuela has figured it out. I just hope, Ben, we don't go through the same kind of incarnations and challenges that they have had to deal with.
Wait, when... Somebody happened with the clip? Well, that was, we did have the, oh, here we go.
On education, I mean, we have a society.
Oh, we got a real problem with Ben Stein.
It's okay. Ben Stein was so boring that he actually ruined the algorithm because the inputs were off. The Ben Stein input ruined the whole process.
It depends on education. I mean, we have a society in which there are an awful lot of people who have no idea that Stalin, Hitler, Mao Zedong all came to power promising the same kinds of things that Ms. Ocasio-Cortez is promising, and it led to mass murder, it led to dictatorship, it led to genocide. These promises are old promises, and they invariably lead to bad things. The promise of just saying to people, do what you can within the law to make your life better, your family's life better, that system works extremely well. Capitalism is a system that allows people to make something of themselves instead of oppressing other people. It's an incredibly good system. Making money is one of the most harmless things there is to do in the whole world, and that's what our society is about. It's not about ordering people around, putting them in concentration camps. What do you do if a person is a richer person and a poorer person? What do? You take him away? Do you shoot him? Well, that's what the problem is.
You know what you could do? You could just tax him.
You could also just tax him.
Tax
A
him.
lot of Stalin's purges, though, were driven by disagreements on marginal rates.
I love the fact that somehow we've gone to 70% tax rate, going to a tax rate that was in existence just prior to Ronald Reagan. Well, it must have been in existence during Reagan, before his tax overhaul, is the functional equivalent of concentration camps.
If Mao was alive today, he would be playing Donkey Kong with H. Bomber Guy to support transgender teenagers.
As DHS is requesting more beds and things like that.
Absolutely. Yes.
But the fact that these folks even have to feel the need to defend capitalism right now is so cool. It means that they're on the defensive.
Well, not only does it mean they're on the defensive, what I think is also great about it is I think that they talk about like getting high in your own supply. They actually really thought that when this stuff was actually put forward, that most people were on their side. They would just innately go, oh, well, that's crazy because, you know, Venezuela and Hitler, and now they're doing it. And then it's actually most people are like, what? She's not. I think she's talking about a marginal tax rate that will get people health care. You lunatic.
I mean, Cold War is over.
It's reminiscent on some level of like when they used to say like Obama practices Chicago-style politics. And everybody above, like below the age of like 65 is just like, what? What does that mean? Like pizza?
Or on a smaller scale, as I always say, I guess you got to give him props now for universal daycare and healthcare and NYC proposal. But the coolest thing about de Blasio when he was running for mayor was like, okay, he ran as the liberal against centrist, so he was already the pick. And then the New York Post tried to make a whole like, he went and hung out with the Sandinistas in the 80s. I was like, oh, all right, you big goofy beanstalk. You might be a lot cooler than I thought.
Well, it's like what Jamie said about the Cold War. They're really operating with the sort of Cold War training wheels on all these arguments.
Right,
and now those are gone.
Yeah, that doesn't work on people anymore.
And strong emphasis on training wheels.
Just in defense of Ben Stein, this is the only way he's going to get on TV again, though, is if he says stuff like, she's basically advocating concentration camps.
Yeah, he should only be on TV for like Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Like,
repeats.
Hey, it was 30 years ago this movie came out. You want to do the Bueller line again?
It was a little bit longer than that, I think. Calling from a 607 area code.